Hello gamers! One of the things I thought we could talk about today is the subjects that I teach. So some of you know that I teach game art as like a general, but I also teach game design. I teach a couple of things over on the esports course, and so I thought today we would start with today's lecture that I am going to be giving to the level 4s, so the first years, and today's module is real-time assets. So that is 3D modeling and creating assets for games, but with real-time constraints. So there has to be some sort of element of interaction or animation, something that would go into a game, because we're not creating in isolation. One of the things I see quite often is game artists who can create these like really beautiful high poly models or ZBrush sculpts that could never go in game. So we have to think about optimization, we have to think about real-time constraints, we have to think about actually being game artists, not just artists. So we're thinking about the technical side, we're thinking about the art side, the creative side, and we're creating with a purpose. So for this module, they've already learned Maya. So for this module, we're switching into Blender because here we are software agnostic, which basically means I don't really mind what software you use. We're going to learn the basics of most 3D modeling software, and then after that you can choose, but we will learn the fundamentals. And one of the things I think is super important about that is if we can learn the fundamentals of modeling, if we can learn, poly modeling, if we can learn hard surface, if we can learn sculpting, if we can learn all of these basics, topology, retopology, UV unwrapping, all of that good stuff. If we can learn the fundamentals in any software, we have a jumping off point. So I kind of hate when you're only taught one piece of software and you're taught where the buttons in that software are and not actually what's happening. So we here I try to break down fully what's actually happening when you press all these buttons and you add all these modifiers and do all this crazy advanced stuff. I'm trying to explain what is happening so that you can translate that into any software in the future, because we don't know what software is going to come around in the future. And if you are a Maya expert and suddenly Maya is unattainable for you after university because it costs lots, you might want to switch to Blender because it's free and open source. Like, there are pros and cons to both. So we try to be software agnostic, I call it, which means you can basically flip between any software. So in this module, the goal of the module is to create a diorama. So a diorama is like a scene, it's like self-contained. You might have seen them, lots of people doing them as projects, but basically at the start of this module, we start with the concepting, the planning, the asset lists, the floor plan, the concept art, and then we move into actually modeling, so making from that asset list. Then we put the scene together, so level design, scene environment design. Then once it's all modeled, we texture. Awesome. Once it's textured, we then start to add in more animation, more particle effects, things that actually run on real-time constraints. And so something in the scene has to be animated, something in the scene has to have either some sort of cool shader or something that needs information to make it run. So that could be like sconces that are on fire, or a waterfall that runs, or some sort of simulation with cloth. There has to be something extra to it, because last semester we did just straight object modeling. We did some prop modeling. Now we're thinking more about the larger game, we're thinking about the level, we're thinking about cool moments of interaction, animation, and how to actually tell stories through level and game design. So that's what we're going to be doing this semester in real-time assets. And obviously all of these things will be optimized so that they could go straight into a game engine and run. And that is the goal. As game artists, that's the goal, to get things into engine. So real-time assets, 3D modeling, real-time constraints, thinking about making art for engine is basically what this module is. And it's one of my favorites, it's really exciting, and I hope to be able to share this with you as we go.